There is a lot that has changed since the resume was first introduced to the professional world back in between 1960 and 1980. What's up, you guys? I'm back with another video. I am Tamika. I am the owner and resume writer at Thompson Resume Writing Company. I specialize in transforming bland, lackluster resumes and LinkedIn profiles into powerful selling tools that help corporate mid-level, management, and executive professionals land interviews 2 times faster. For this video, we are going to be talking about the difference between resumes now and resumes from in the past. There is a lot that has changed since the resume was first introduced to the professional world back in between 1960 and 1980. Let's get right into it. Back in the day, there were certain things that were standard, that was expected, and there were things that were frowned upon. But in today's day and age, a lot of those rules no longer apply. When you're talking about resume length, resume style, its appearance, and the content that's included, a lot of those things are completely different now. Now, a few reasons for this includes the rise of technology, so of course we have the applicant tracking systems now, but then there's also been an evolution in terms of HR managers and recruiters and the evolution of jobs themselves. And what recruiters and hiring managers want to see on your resume now versus what they wanted to see back then is also completely different. So without further ado, here are several ways that resumes now are different from resumes back then. Number 1 is that they do not have to be one page. In a previous post that I shared on my LinkedIn and Instagram pages, I talked about how the one-page resume rule is dead. In today's day and age, having a 2-page resume does not automatically mean rejection. In fact, having a resume that is 2 pages or at least a page and a half can give you the opportunity to go into more detail about your experiences and your qualifications. It can also work to your advantage because you have the opportunity to put more keywords into the document that the applicant tracking system may be looking for. However, there is a rule to this. So if your resume is going to be 2 pages, you need to make sure that the information is relevant, necessary, valuable, and that the content that's included communicates your value, your expertise, your strengths, and your specialties. You don't want to have a resume that's 2 pages that says a lot of nothing. 2-page resumes work best for mid-level to executive professionals with years of progressive experience, education, and accomplishments. But for entry-level professionals, which includes college graduates, high school graduates, or somebody that's maybe transitioning careers, a 1-page resume is completely fine. Number 2 is that you don't need to include your references on your resume, and you do not need to say that your references are available upon request. When a company is seriously considering moving forward with you as a candidate or getting very close to making you an offer, they are naturally going to reach out to you directly for those references. There's no need to waste valuable space on your resume by listing all of your references out one by one, or even just putting the phrase references available upon request. Not to mention, you do not want a potential employer just randomly all willy-nilly reaching out to people if they haven't even interviewed you, which actually can happen if you have your references plainly listed on the document. However, you should have a list of people who have already agreed to serve as a reference for you available and ready to send whenever the time comes. Number 3, communicating your value and your impact is not considered bragging. So obviously, resumes back then were pretty humble and very humdrum. It was frowned upon to say your major wins and your successes. So if you saved the company $300,000, if you implemented a brand new process that increased productivity by 50%, you really weren't supposed to say it. Like, that was supposed to be kept hush-hush. And this is because you were considered arrogant or cocky even. But these days, communicating your value and plainly stating what you have done is exactly what hiring managers and recruiters want to see. Do not be afraid to list accomplishments, kudos, or recognition that you may have received or earned at your company, no matter how big or small. After all, it's not bragging if it's true. It's literally just stating the facts. Number 4 is that they do not begin with an objective statement anymore. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you already know how I feel about objective statements. Get rid of them, throw them in the trash. Back then, your resume was supposed to begin with an objective statement that talked about the type of job you were looking for and what your plans were going to be when and if you had the opportunity to join the company. And they were boring AF. Resumes today begin with a professional summary or a career summary that touches on a snapshot of your skills, what you can do or what you bring to the table, and a few of your career highlights and wins. Your professional summary should be tailored to at least 3 to 5 jobs that are related that you plan on applying to. And your professional summary should always be positioned towards the top half of the very first page, and it should come after your name, your contact information, your targeted headline, and your branding statement. Number 5 is that you do not need to be listing 2 phone numbers. So back when landlines and pagers were a thing before cell phones, people actually used to list both on their resume for when they wanted an employer or a potential employer to get in contact with them. This way, when they weren't home when a job called them for an interview or to request an interview with them, they could be paged or beeped. But go figure, landlines and pagers are both a thing of the past, and so is listing 2 phone numbers on your resume. These days, you only need 1 phone number and 1 phone number only, and more than likely, it's going to be your cell phone. And honestly, recruiters do not have the time to be calling multiple numbers to see if you want this job or not. They are more than likely going to give somebody a call who only has 1 number and can be reached more easily. Number 6 is that you should be including links to your LinkedIn profile, your professionally branded website, or your portfolio if you have one. So of course the internet was nowhere near what it is today back then, and so there was no LinkedIn, there was no social media, and really there was no opportunity to have a personal branded website. But today, those elements can actually be key differentiating factors that set you apart from other candidates when you are on your job search, so you definitely want to make sure that you include them. So after you list your phone number and your email address, feel free to include a link to your LinkedIn profile, your Instagram page, your YouTube page, or your Facebook page, as well as your online portfolio or a personal website if you have it. If you do not have a LinkedIn profile, or you have a LinkedIn profile but you do not use it, I did write a really good blog post on 7 reasons why you need to be on LinkedIn ASAP. I'll make sure that I go ahead and drop the link to that post in the comments below as well. Number 7, it needs to be targeted. Do y'all remember when general resumes were a thing? Back then, your resume was basically all of the jobs that you've ever held and the experiences that you've gained with each and every single one. There was no focus, there was no targeting, there was no tailoring. But these days, that is not going to fly. Your resume needs to be targeted. Targeting and tailoring your resume is essential. So a targeted resume is going to show more focus and more attention, while a non-targeted resume or a general resume is going to make it seem like you're basically applying and going for any and everything that's out there. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm not just applying to any and every job. No, when I'm applying to a position, I know that this is exactly what I want. I know what I'm going for, and I know why I'm going for it. And when the recruiter and the hiring manager opens that resume, I want them to know what I'm going for too. In last week's video, I did talk about 3 different ways that you can target your resume, which included by job title in industry, both, and by including a branding statement. But please don't be out here using no general resume in 2021. Like, come on now, we are way past that. So those are 7 ways that resumes now are different from resumes back then. If you were watching this video and you realize that a couple of things on the resumes from back then list aren't on your current resume, then that's a clear sign that you probably need a resume refresh. If you need assistance with your resume, I am more than happy to help you. Feel free to visit my website at www.thompsonresumes.com. You can also send me an email to hello@thompsonresumes.com as well. And last but not least, before I officially end this video, I want to encourage you to please subscribe to my Tamika's Career Tea e-newsletter email list. As part of my email list, you will be getting bi-weekly emails from me that contain resume, LinkedIn, and cover letter tips and hints, as well as be among the first people to receive when I drop a new resources and content update. So as soon as I drop a new YouTube video or as soon as I drop a new blog, you are going to be the first person to know about it because you are on my email list. I'll go ahead and drop the link below so that you can subscribe to that too. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you guys next week with another video. Bye guys.